Hi, class 5 students, welcome back. So we'll continue with the same chapter, what we have left in our last class. Clear? So today we are going to discuss about the skeleton, human skeleton. And I have given you a brief introduction about the human skeleton and the parts that we have under this human skeleton. So today I'll show you how a human skull look like, okay? So the first part of the human skeleton is skull, right? Skull. So the human skull looks like this. Clear? This is how the human skull looks. Now, we have the human skull is composed of 22 bones. And you have to remember this one, students. Clear? In the human skull, we have 22 bones. Clear? Altogether, how many bones we have in an adult human body? We have 206 bones, right? And this all 200, out of these 206 bones, 22 bones is for skull, okay? For this skull. Now, the facial part, okay? Now the facial part composed of 14 bones. Clear? These facial parts composed of 14 bones, and then here we have a flat bone, okay? We have a flat bones. Okay, this upside, whatever apart from the facial bone, the other bones are flat bones. Those are joined and interlocked. Okay, flat bones interlock. When I say interlock, that means it is not movable, immovable, okay? So that's why, see, our elbow or our feet we can move, but the bones in our head, it's not movable, right? It's not, they are interlocked. Clear? So we have 8 flat bones. In the human skull, we have 8 flat bones that are interlocked, and then we have 14 facial bone. Clear? Now in the human bone, we have 1 movable bones, and that is the lower jaw. Okay, so this one is a part. So this one is a part of the skull, right? But the lower one here, the lower jaw is movable. Clear? If it's not movable means we will not be able to talk, we will not be able to eat. Clear? So I'm sure now you are clear with this skull, the first one. Okay, and here you have to remember this one, okay, in 2 bones. Now, this human skeleton, okay, it's very important because this is the framework, okay? This is the framework. This is the framework of our human body. It gives us what? The structure. It gives us the structure. It gives us the shape. The shape of our body depends on our human skeleton. Everyone have different shape and size. So it depends, it gives us the structure. Okay, just to let you remember, I'll say S cube, okay? S cube means structure, shape, and size. Okay, now the human skeleton gives us what? The skeleton gives us like the structure, shape, and size. So S cube, just to let you remember this one, I'm just giving you a trick, okay? Now, so the first part, that is skull, I'm sure now you are familiar with how many bones we have, right? Now see, I told you about these flat bones that we have, that are interlocked. Now why this is very important? Because, you know, our brain, okay? The brain is very delicate. The human brain is very delicate, right? And this is one of the most important organ in our human body. So now the human brain is protected by these flat bones, okay? By these flat bones. So the flat bones includes the brain, okay? Now you remember that one. Now the next part of the human skeleton will study about the backbone, okay? Backbone. So students, backbone or spine, okay, this is the same thing. It is known as backbone or spine. Now how our backbone looks like, okay, I'll show you. This is the back, okay, the back part of the human skeleton, and this is the backbone, okay, this is the backbone. So this is the spine, see. Clear? Now we'll study about this one in details. Now this backbone is attached with the skull, okay. Now our backbone is attached with the skull. Like I've shown you here, you see, this is our backbone, and then this is the spine, and then it's attached with the human brain, right? The skull here. Our backbone is attached with the skull. Now, this backbone, it is made up of 33 small bones, okay? 33 small bones. 33 small bones. This number, keep in mind, my dear students, in the backbones, we have, it is composed of 33 small bones, which are known as vertebra. Clear? Vertebra. And together, all together, the small bones in a singular form, we call it as vertebrae, but all together, okay, all together like this, we call it as vertebral column. Vertebral column. Clear? Vertebral column. So, this is very important. Now, I'm sure you are clear with the first two parts, that is about the skull and the backbone. And the backbone, okay, what does it do? It protects, okay, it protects one very important organs. And what is that? It protects the spinal cord. Clear? It protects the spinal cord. So next up, we'll study about the third one, that is the rib cage, okay, the rib cage. Okay, so students, rib cage is this one, see. Do you see this? This is the rib cage, and see, this is how it looks like. This is the rib cage that we have here, okay. Now this rib cage is very important. Now why it is known as cage, right? Why it is known as cage? I'll explain. Now, because in this rib cage we have 12 bow-shaped, okay, bow-shaped rib cage, okay. We have 12 bow-shaped rib cage. Altogether, if you count, you'll have a 12 bow-shaped, okay, like this, 1, 2, 3, so we'll have like 12 bow-shaped rib cage. Now, why it is known as cage? You know, cage is something where in zoo, where animals are caged, right? The same as this rib cage, we have, okay, they protect what? They protect a very important organ. That is, they protect the heart. Okay, this heart is protected inside this cage. So you will find this one here. Okay, now you can refer your textbook, you can refer the diagram, as well as the lungs. Clear? So this is what you have to remember. Now, this is joined. This rib cage is joined with the breastbone and the backbone. Okay, it is joined with the breastbone and the backbone. I will show you here. This is the rib cage, and it is joined with the breastbone and the backbone. And you have to remember the last two bone, the last two pair. Okay, the last two pair, they are attached just with the backbone. Okay, the last two pair are attached just with the backbone. They are not attached with the breastbone. Okay, remember that. Okay, now we'll study about the next one, that will be the limbs. Okay, limbs. Okay, so students, limbs. When I say limbs, we have two types, okay? That is the upper limb and the lower limb. Now, the upper limb means the forelimb. That means our arms, okay? Our arms. And the lower limb means that's our leg part, okay? Now, how they are joined with the skeleton? How they are joined with the skeleton? Now, let's talk about the forelimb, okay? Let's talk about the forelimbs. Forelimbs or the arm, okay? Or the arms. These arms, forelimb, I'll just write here, arms. Now they are attached. They are attached with the spine. Remember the spine that I've discussed here, backbone. We have 33 vertebral column, right? Now, so now this the forelimb, the arms is attached with the spine. Now here we have a shoulder. We have a shoulder girdle, okay? Girdle. So they are attached, the forelimbs attached to the spine through this shoulder girdle. Now shoulder girdle means, you know, this we have an arm blade, okay? And we have a two pair of I'll show you here. This one, do you see here? One pair, two pair. These two blades, do you see here? Two. You can just touch, okay? One, and then you can just touch here, two. Clear? And then you can just touch this one, and then two. So they are attached. The arms is attached with the spine through this shoulder girdle. Clear? Now let's talk about the lower limb. That means the hind limb, okay? The hind limb. Now this hind limb is very important, okay? The hind limb or the lower part. Now here we have one of the longest bone in the body, and you have to remember that, okay? In objective question, they usually ask which one is the longest bone in the body. So in the lower part we have hind limb, and here we have the longest bone, and that is femur, okay? I'll write over here, F-E-M-U-R. So this is the thigh bone, okay? Thigh bone. This is the thigh bone, T-H-I-G-H, thigh bone. So this is the longest bone in the body. And now how is this limb, okay? How is this hind limb? How is this leg attached with with the skeleton? Now they are attached to the skeleton through the hip girdle, okay? Hip girdle, right here. Hip girdle, okay? This hind limb, the two pair are attached to the skeleton through this hip girdle with a ball and socket joint. See, ball and socket joint means, let's say this is ball, okay? Let's say this one is the leg part, okay? This part is the leg part. Let's say this is our, okay, I'll rub this one here and I'll show you here, okay? So let's say this is the thigh bone, okay? Thigh bone, and it ends in the shape of a ball, okay? Ball. Now let's say our hip has a socket. A socket means, you know, socket means you can take example of an electric socket, the switch plug that you have at home. Now let's say this is the hip. Let's say this is the hip girdle, okay, the hip part. Now this is our thigh, and our thigh ends in the form of a ball. So if I want to fit this ball in the socket, then I'll fit like this here, right? Then this our thigh will be movable, right? So you can refer your textbook for a diagram, okay? So the thigh bone, it ends in the shape of a ball, and this ball, it fits into the hip girdle, because in the hip girdle we have a socket where we can attach these two. Clear? So since it's in the shape of a ball, our hip can move around. Clear? That's why working out is possible. For working out or for dancing, we need a lot of movement. We need a lot of work. Like this is the most important part, right? For walking or for dancing, for working out. So this thigh bone, it is attached with the hip girdle in the form of a ball and socket joint. Okay, ball and socket joint. Okay, so students, now I'm sure you are familiar with how our hind limb is joined with the hip girdle. Okay, how this feet is a part of the skeleton. But now I have talked about this femur, right? This is this femur. This is the longest bone in the body, in the human body. Now, in this type of bone, okay, in this type of a long bone, let's say this is a bone. Inside is hollow, okay, inside is a hollow. Inside it is a hollow, and you'll find like, are you aware what will be present inside this hollow, inside this bone? Let's say this is a bone, okay. So inside this, what will be there? Are you aware about that? You'll see some soft. You'll see some soft, fatty substance, right? So that is known as bone marrow, okay? So bone marrow is present inside the bone, right? That is soft and that are composed of fatty acids. Clear? Now, this bone marrow produce what? They produce, very important, student, remember that one, white blood cell and red blood cells. Clear? This bone marrow produce white blood cells and red blood cells. Red blood cells and white blood cells. Now remember, if I ask any question, from where do we get this, from where this RBC and WBC is produced, then you say bone marrow. And where it is found? It is found inside the bone in the form of a soft. Clear? Now the very important thing for white blood cells is the protector inside our body. Clear? These are like the warrior. These are like the soldier inside our human body. Because when any foreign particles, when any foreign organism, okay, let's say any virus, or if anything that is not healthy to our body, if they come and attack our body, then these white blood cells, they fight for our body. Clear? So they fight against the foreign organism that attack our body. So remember that one. Clear? So it's there in the textbook. You can refer to it as well. So today we have completed about the human skeleton. Okay, the human skeleton. And human skeleton plays a very important role because it gives us the structure, shape, and everything. Clear? Now it gives us the movement. Clear? It gives us the movement. Now, talking about the skull, we have discussed about the skull, we have discussed about the backbone, we have discussed about the rib cage as well as the limb, right? Now, we have also discussed about the bone marrow and the femur. Now, so all these points are very important, so you note it down and remember. Clear? So tomorrow we are in the next class. In the next class, we'll start with a new topic, okay, a new topic, that is joints, okay, joints. So thank you so much, students. See you in the next class.